Hello there, beautiful humans. It's Roslyn Loxton here, and guess what? It's Wisdom of the Oracle Wednesday. And I've just come off a beautiful breathwork class, which was really awesome. And I had an interesting experience with that. But at the moment, personally, I am going through what feels like a real incubation stage where something is cooking in terms of, bringing forward a service into the world in all the ways. So I know that if I'm going through it and I'm having to navigate my way through the challenges of it, then when I show up with my product or my service in this space, then I'm coming from true authority around how to move through these particular parts of our life. So with today's Wisdom of the Oracle card reading, I just wanted to make it obvious that whilst we're all individuals, I don't know who's going to pop into this container for this particular Oracle card today. But whilst we go through things as individuals, we independently experience our life. And how could a single Oracle card work for everybody? That would take a lot longer than what we've got in the spirit of today's Wisdom of the Oracle container. But whilst we all go through things as individuals, we also all go through things as a collective. And that's the really important one. That's the one where we're all experiencing what's happening all at the same time, but we're experiencing it through the filters of our individual filters, our individual human designs and where we're at, what we're holding, and how do we filter life. So, I think of Mum. She's such low-hanging fruit when it comes to, bringing up an example. Bless her, I love her. She's really, battled some demons and somehow has come out on top. But she lives with a lot of fear, and the more I do my own personal work, and it's just something that you do all the time. The self-work is a constant thing. Like, how do you keep yourself in alignment with who you're meant to be in all the ways when you're constantly being conditioned by the day? Whatever's happening in your environment is constantly conditioning you. And so it is with deliberate intention that we condition ourselves the way that works in alignment with what's right for us. And that's what I call the work. It's not that we're broken and we need fixing. It's that we're being constantly conditioned and we need to be constantly unconditioning and reconditioning ourselves in a way that helps us to live in pure alignment with how we are individually meant to be, but also as a collective how we're meant to be. So today in our container, the message that I'm going to ask for is really about how do you as an individual take this message and look through the filter of this message with the situation that you're going through. But the situation is not really going to be in isolation from the collective, because the collective is affecting the individual and the individual is affecting the collective energetically in so many ways that we're just not aware of, because we're going about our day with our little blinkers on doing our thing, but you are being affected by the collective and you are bringing your energy into the collective. So today, what is the message that would best serve the individuals that are going to pop into this container in a way that they're being affected and how they are affecting the collective? And so I would like to ask that this, we're all mucked up here, that this container, what's going on? Like, they're all just everywhere. Okay, I'm going to ask that our container today be protected, that we set that there's like a barrier or a boundary being set for this container today with intention. And the intention is that this container be protected by any negative or unbenevolent or malevolent sabotaging, interfering sort of forces, that this container is protected, and what is held within this container is purely benevolent, here for love and support and positivity. Even though we may get a message that seems like it's not super positive, that the intention of this container is for our best self, for our best evolution, and that the message will support the individuals that are here based on how they are tapped into the collective. You know, what's their part in as their being in the collective. It's like you're one cell in a human body, you're one cell in a collective body, and you're affecting and you're being affected by the collective. Also within this container, the intention is that a message gets, that we pull a message today, or we get given a message today that's for our best selves, our best lives, and that we can take this message and apply it in a way that would help us get a breakthrough, have an insight, or glean a situation with some fresh perspective through a new window that would help us navigate our journey, you know. So I also do ask that any divine support that can be in this container, source, angels, guides, even ancestors, that only benevolent, helpful energy is in this container, and that we're seeking guidance and wisdom for our best life and our best self, for our healing, for our expansion. And so on that note, what's the message that the collective and the individuals in the collective can receive today in support of where they're at and what they need to know and what can be helpful? So we're looking for our juicy message today, and if I get a jumper, I'll grab that. Otherwise, I'll just shuffle until, there it is. Okay, so number 50, it's called No Place Like Home. What is the date today? I have no idea. No place like home. So what does that mean for you? Immediately, if you just sink into a sense of what does that mean for you, if you put your hand on your heart and you just feel still within your body as much as possible. There's a lot of interference that we're not attuned to notice, you know, we just push through it all the time. But as much as you can, taking a few deep breaths and really, you know, really doing your best to still yourself into your body, still, S-T-I-L-L, into your body, into your heart, and understanding that you're a part of a collective. Oh, I've got that back to front. And it was in the upright position. There's no place like home. And really, what is home? What I would like people to understand is being able to come home to yourself and your most authentic self, who you are here to be. Because if you have ever lived within a family, if you've ever gone to school or gone to church as you were growing up, then you are a product of your conditioning. And so your home being who you are here to be, that's your home. And if you're living out of conditioning, and you are, unless you've done a lot of work, then coming home to yourself, sounds cliche or a bit weird, is the most empowered thing you can do, empowering thing you can do. And it's not always an easy journey. There's a lot of resistance there, and the conditioning is a part of how come the resistance is there. And the resistance works in really tricky ways. It's like the gas in the mine, you know, we put the canary down the mine to see if there's gas down there, because you can't really see the gas. And that's kind of how conditioning is working. It's like the gas in the mine. And we want to clear that gas out so that your mine shaft is pure and clean and open. So let's read what the message actually says. My hair is so thick, it's everywhere today. Number 50. Number 50. I can feel something really brewing in terms of a service to bring to the world. And yeah, it's been incubating, and I've gone, what is this period I'm in where it feels like you've come out of a forest and you're just into this opening, and I'm walking in the opening, in the opening, in the opening. It's still there. It's like, when's the forest coming back? You know, like, what is this big sparse space? Actually now, which direction do I walk in? It's felt a bit like that. So I've had to really honor that's there for me, you know, and there's wisdom in everything and that is my journey. That is what I'm always seeking, is what's the wisdom in this and how can I share the wisdom? So, and that's a part of being a 6-2 in the human design. No place like home, essential meaning, authenticity. How many times have I said that today? Authenticity, coming home to yourself. Oh my God, I'm an oracle. Coming home to yourself, feeling at home, arriving at a place where you just fit, being comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, and I think that's probably what is going to form a big part of the intention behind the next product that I bring into service. So the oracle message, home feels safe and secure. Ultimately, that is what home is to feel like. But a lot of people have grown up in a way, you know, in an environment where that maybe is not what they got from their home. They didn't feel safe and secure. And safe and security can come from your primary caregivers. For whatever reason, they might not excel at connection. And so you didn't feel safe in an emotional sense, in a need for emotional security. You know, it's not safe to need people. It's not safe to need love, you know, or to give love, because you know, your environment for whatever reason did not instill that in you. So that would be my journey. If that's the case for you, that would be the journey I would invite you to take, is to come to a place where you do feel safe at home, and that you do feel safe giving and receiving love. It is a safe thing to do. A place that is known and you can call yours. This card signals that your ability to trust yourself and feel at home in your own skin is beginning to solidify as you claim your dignity and integrity. Aspects of yourself no one can take away from you, because they are you. You know who you are. Even if you feel like you don't, there is a part of you that does know who you are. You hold your head high, yet with neither pride nor humility, just being authentic to the human that you are here to be. And your human that you're here to be is different to the human I'm here to be. Instead, you stand as the observer, seeing through the eyes of your soul. This puts you in a position of power and strength. And that is, power and strength is for your own wellness, your own goodness, your own ability to stand strong as yourself in this crazy world. You know, it's not so that you can overpower people or that you can win the war. You know, those power and strength isn't to overturn other people or to be victorious in a war against other people. Okay, we're a collective, and this collective is a part of all the individual parts making the collective. So every person that still has war energy in their body is bringing war energy to the collective. This is how we all have to be independently, individually responsible for what we are emitting out into the world. So that's another whole story. This puts you in a position of power and strength. Authenticity is actually your home. Yes, amen. You are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit. You are safe here in the house of your spirit and spirit with a big S and spirit with a little s. So how does that message land for you? If you were to say, today my heart and soul asked me for some direction and wisdom, and this is what's come in front of me. How do I digest this? You know, how do I digest this message for your greater good, for the greater good of the collective? Relationship message: lovers, friends, and companion animals are at home in your life right now. You are in sync and full of love, and you can be secure in the knowledge that it is reciprocated. Relationships elicit a sense of emotional safety, comfort, and the best aspect of familiarity right now. Be home in this relationship. Together, you add to the love of the world. Which is what I just said, in terms of whatever you're feeling, your energetic aura and is being emitted out into the world, and collectively with all the billions and billions of people, then all that collective energy joins together and forms what we're all going through together. So, prosperity message, prosperity, here we go. Woo! When you act in an authentic way, you command the world to reflect back to you exactly what is in your highest good. If you act in an authentic way, and that means you have to be in alignment with who you really are. And most of us are not. We are conditioned. Your business choices, the investments you make, and the creative projects you immerse yourself in are powerfully on point. Why? Because when you are fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, radically accepting, means not blaming. It just means being able to integrate what you have been through in a way where you pick up the lessons and the gold and the wisdom, and you let go of everything else, because that is the vibration that's going to bring you prosperity, as opposed to there's a word I'm looking for which means latent, like it's sitting down there and you don't really, you're not super obvious of it, but you've got this sort of latent shadow stuff, you know, which is negative. When you are fully yourself, radically accepting everything in your journey to date, both success and failures, you will see the divinity in all things. This is actually takes a lot of wisdom. It takes a lot of aha and insight, actually, to get to that point. Abundance is a natural progression when you experience this kind of authenticity. Yes. This card was not in the protection message, but I'm going to read it in the spirit of the fullness of this card. So if it were in the protection message, there are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. I like this protection message. It feels like what I've been sort of trying to say, but maybe the words haven't come to me in an eloquent, effluent way. Oh, that's a Kath and Kim reference. There are times when what is familiar and known is not the best choice. Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we all look for certainty for what we know, even if the qualities we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Yeah? This is kind of leads back to if you did get brought up in a family and in a household where there wasn't a lot of security, emotional security, then you have developed yourself to be comfortable with a lack of emotional security, and so you might seek that in other people because it's comfortable, but it's not the best choice. Where did I get to? Human beings are memory-driven creatures, and we all look for certainty for what we know, even if the qualities that we seek in other people and in external conditions are expressed in unhealthy ways. Avoid being too eager to find home. Choose something unfamiliar and trust that there you will find a new normal that supports your spirit. Amen. If that's confusing to you or somehow it rings a bell but you're trying to make that insight land, reach out to me and let me help you think that through a bit more, because it's exactly what I feel the message is today and that I'm trying to say. Sometimes the normal that you're seeking and what feels like home to you is not for your most aligned self. It's what you've been accidentally conditioned to, and that conditioning is not serving you. It's the gas in the mine. So we don't want to return to the gas in the mine when we're looking for home. If looking for home leads us to unhealthy behaviors, then we have to go somewhere that's unfamiliar, and that's really tricky, and sometimes we need support with that. Nearly always. Remember, if you do what you did, you'll get what you got. Do the opposite of what feels right. Do the opposite of what feels familiar, even if it's uncomfortable, because what feels right is really what feels familiar, and you will attract and be drawn to the very things that you don't want anymore. This time will not be different unless you do something different. So that was the protection message, okay? Returning to home. And so that is your individual message and how it reflects and affects the collective. So, wow, imagine if every individual person in the whole world could come back to their home away from the conditioning that has that is almost like the gas in the mine, in that their conditioning is poisonous to their real, authentic, in alignment self. And that I'm really invite you to explore the human design, because if you're a 1-3 projector or a 6-2 generator, those two people need to live completely different to each other. But our conditioning makes us all come through life in the same way, especially our education system. And lots of times our families do as well. We've all got to have our bedtime, and we all have to eat the dinner that's on our plate, and we all have to behave the same way, and we're not the same. So this is, human design is really good for parenting as well, and going, okay, I've got a 1-3 child and a 6-2, projector and a generator, and how do I manage these different souls, Anywho, that's been a bit of a longer Wisdom of the Oracle Wednesday, but I hope that you got a lot out of it. I will be back next Wednesday with another Wisdom of the Oracle. I will put a link in this post in case you would like to have a session where we do use Wisdom of the Oracles in our conversation. But we don't have to do that. You know, we can chat without the wisdom of the oracles. I just like to bring them in because I find them super delicious messages, and it's quite fun. All right, I'm wishing you all the very best. Big encouragement, big love for your best self and your best life, and finding your attunement and alignment with your real, true, who you're meant to be here self. Okay, bye for now. Doop.